You are now listening to the Q&E Podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? Well, come and get it, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Q&E Podcast, and you're here with your boy Q Hicks right now. And I got Eggert on the other line. Eggert, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Q&E Podcast. Today, we got a lot coming for y'all, bro. NFL Week 1 is out of the way. All the hype has been met. Certain teams have surprised us. Certain teams are still doing what they're doing. And we got a few shockers for what teams we feel might be disappointing us this season, bro. So we got a lot to get into. And we got some college football to look forward to for this upcoming weekend. A lot of big SEC battles coming up.
But first, we are going to dive into Week 1 of the NFL. Eggert, just what was your biggest takeaway? Let's just start with that of Week 1. What was something that just really stuck out to you about the first week of NFL?
The biggest thing that stuck out to me, and I said it once the game was over, that Ravens versus Raiders Monday Night Football game, I feel like Derek Carr is really going to be a dark horse for MVP. Is he going to be one of the leaders? No. But he's definitely going to be one of those players that it's like, hey, if he get on a good enough winning streak, he can make his case. So Derek Carr definitely proved that with the Monday night game versus Baltimore. I think you even pointed out a couple weeks ago that Derek Carr might, if healthy, might be a worthy candidate in that discussion.
I've been on this Derek Carr train for a minute, man. I rock with Derek Carr heavy. I don't think he's always had the full arsenal of weapons in Oakland, but I think it's coming around now. Oakland is starting to build the team around him. You got Darren Waller, you got Ruggs, so it's like Derek Carr, you have to step up to the plate now, because we know back in 2014, I think that's when he was about to win MVP before he got hurt. So we know he's capable of playing that way. We just have to see it at a consistent level, because I think we said last year that Derek Carr was going to be a top 10 QB. Like toward the beginning of the season, it was looking that way, but then at the end, he started to tail off. So with a lot of these QBs, we have to see consistency. And that's something I'm going to bring up with another topic as well moving forward.
And he even said in his post-game interview, you know, it's been a lot of ups and downs throughout his career, whether it was injuries or, like you said, having a good season, but just not finishing as strong as we may want him to, you know. So he definitely understands what his career has been, but he also knows what it can be as well. But also, just to take away a little bit from that game, Baltimore's defense, I didn't think losing Marcus Peters would just completely mess up their secondary that much. Like, even though Lamar was playing some good hero ball, he made a few mistakes. I can't act like those two fumbles didn't happen. But defensively, the Ravens, I don't know what the hell was going on. Their secondary just went completely down the drain.
And let's start off the topic with that Ravens conversation, because yes, the Ravens still have a lot of talent on their team, but losing Marcus Peters was so big because you rely so heavily on that secondary. That was the strength of your team. So losing your second best corner is going to affect the team and its playoff chances. That's just how it is. Like, you lost a lot of defensive pass rush. You lost Matthew Judon. I think they lost Calais Campbell as well. Your linebackers, you have Patrick Queen, but you're kind of weak at that position. So you're relying on the corners to stick to their man. And you just don't have that gambling corner like Marcus Peters, who can actually change an entire game with one of his pick sixes or something along those lines. So losing him was big, bro. Losing Gus Edwards at the running back position was big. Even though that running back position is so replaceable, getting these older running backs like Tavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, I don't know how much of a impact they're going to have on this season. So it's a lot of question marks with the Ravens after those two injuries I've seen this past week.
Honestly, I still think they have a playoff chance. Is it a little bit scarier now because the Steelers look like they might actually have a fight in this? I've been one of the people saying the Steelers ain't going to make it because I think Cleveland and Baltimore are going to have the two out of the 7 spots for the AFC playoff picture. But Pittsburgh is starting off the season really good. Granted, it's week 1, but still, they got the dub as opposed to the Ravens. But I still feel like Lamar Jackson can get these guys to the playoffs. I feel Le'Veon Bell is experienced enough and is still skilled enough to be a valuable asset. Latavius Murray had 1, maybe 2 touchdowns the other night. So I feel like they can get to the playoffs. It's just what's going to happen when they get there. Are they going to be kicked out in the first round, or I feel like what's going to happen when they get there should be the big question.
I think offensively they will be fine with whatever they have on offense. I think they will still be fine, but it's just defensively. I just feel like you can't replace Marcus Peters, even though you still have a solid enough defensive backups. It's still not enough, because if you're giving that up to the Raiders, who don't have that crazy of weapons, like you have to go against other teams in your division who have Odell, Jarvis Landry. Like you have Pittsburgh with an array of weapons over there. And then with the Bengals, even with the Bengals, you still have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins. So you have to have good secondaries in this division. And it's like, I don't know if they're a top tier secondary in the league anymore after losing Marcus Peters. So it's a question, and I don't think they make the playoffs anymore. We made our predictions last week, but I don't know. I can't say they make it.
I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. Next week, they got an L. Well, this coming Sunday, they got an L. They facing the Chiefs. Granted, they're at home, but I'm giving the Chiefs that dub. But after that,
they got their number too.
You got the Lions, then you got the Broncos, then you got the Colts. The wide receiving cores for those three teams ain't that crazy. Not enough to scare you defensively, I don't think, if you're the Ravens. Because if you get in shootouts with those three teams, I feel like you have a chance. You're going to be in a better situation than Jared Goff. You're going to be in a better situation than Teddy Bridgewater a little bit. That could be a scary battle, but I would still take the Ravens. And the Colts, yeah, the Colts are an arguable playoff team, but if Carson Wentz has an off day, you got that game in the bag. They don't have another rough game really until the Chargers after this Chiefs game.
I still don't like it, because you still have divisional games that you haven't even said yet. And I think that's going to be the hardest part of their schedule, and that's what's going to tear them down. Like, they can beat a lot of teams in the NFL. All the teams you named, they most likely can beat. But when you go against the Browns, when you go against the Steelers, with what I just seen on Sunday, it's like, man. And once again, that offensive line did not look good. Like, Lamar Jackson was pressured on 54% of his throws. If he can't even get time to get the ball out, what are we looking at here? And we see he fumbled a couple of times as well. So it's like, man, if he can't get time, it's like, damn, my nigga. Because the past couple of years, he could actually like have time to throw. He could actually have time to decide in the pocket what he wanted to do with it. But this year, the line isn't the same. They lost a lot in free agency, bro. And I don't think a lot of people realize that, but they're coming and they're getting exposed. If you got exposed by the Raiders like that, you're going to get exposed definitely in your division, and definitely by the higher echelon teams in the NFL and in the AFC. So I don't think the Ravens make the playoffs.
I got them still making it, but I do have them still second in the division behind the Browns. I feel like they can get there. I just don't know what's going to happen when they do.
And going back to takeaways real quick, I wanted one of my takeaways to be the Peyton and Manning and Eli simulcast that they were doing on ESPN2. That shit was fire. So I want to shout out ESPN for that, because you had the real game with the real analysts going on with Louis Riddick and all them. But when you watch that Peyton Manning, because I think they had Russell Wilson on as well, and they were all just talking about football, what they predicted the plays to be. Like, you learn so much football in just such a quick amount of time. Like, even if you watched it for 10 minutes, you were picking up so much, because what Peyton Manning was explaining, like the concepts, when he was like diagramming certain plays and certain concepts that the teams were running and how to stop it. Like, you learn so much about the language and what football players say and what certain signal calls mean. So I just want to shout out ESPN for that, because throughout the season and however long they continue to do the Peyton and Eli simulcast, that will become way more popular, and that probably will take over from the regular Monday Night Football coverage. People will start going to that, because you're learning football while watching the game at the same time. And you got Russell Wilson on there, who just had a great game. So it's like, I seen a lot of chemistry on Monday night. So definitely shout out to ESPN for that, bro. That was great.
And I feel like Peyton Manning, I don't see NFL like coaching staff at all in his future. I don't think he wants to be a part of any coaching staff, but he gives me Fox NFL Sunday vibes or Monday Night Football vibes. Like, I feel like he could be a true asset to one of those networks, especially Fox NFL Sunday. I feel like that'll be perfect for Peyton Manning later down the line. Yeah, for right now, do what you're doing with your brother, analyzing on this simulcast, like, and just giving knowledge to the fans on what the game really is and what some of this verbiage means and how we can learn how to read plays kind of like y'all can, just like you said, giving that insight seems fun to the football mind, so I feel like that's cool. But Peyton Manning should definitely consider like doing one of these shows like later on in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. And let's move on to most likely was the game of the week, which was the Chiefs beating the Browns. I predicted the Browns to win this game. They were in control of it for 3 quarters, and they really let go of the rope in the 4th quarter. But I have to say that the Browns are not far away from the Chiefs. If your takeaway is that the Chiefs are still clear heads above everybody else in the AFC, I cannot agree with you, bro. Because the Browns are on their ass, and they didn't have OBJ. Like the defense was stopping a lot of what they were doing. They let go of the rope in the 4th quarter, but for 3 quarters, you held Patrick Mahomes to like 22 points. That's as good as you gonna get with a defense going against Patrick Mahomes. The defense looked good. You got pressure on Mahomes. You got stops when you needed to. We see toward the end, Baker couldn't make the plays necessary to get the W, but I see a lot going in the Browns' direction, and I think this is an AFC Championship preview. And I think the Browns going to get them in the playoffs, though. They that close. They are that close.
I agree. They're that close because we seen this last season just before. Was that the AFC?
That was before the championship.
It was before the AFC Championship, but it gave me vibes of that game. Cleveland was just so close. They were just a few plays here on this drive, a few plays here on this drive away from actually pulling out that win. But I do have to say, what does this mean for Baker Mayfield? Like, are you just going to keep getting so close and then just folding when it really counts? Because I have the Browns as one of the top 3 teams in the AFC. I said it before the season started. Chiefs, Bills, Browns. Those are the hierarchy teams that I have in the AFC. So with Baker Mayfield, I feel like you just got to learn to close, bro. You held the lead for that long. And like you said, Patrick Mahomes ain't staying at 21, 22 points the entire game. He's getting into that Brady-esque part of his bag to where you leave him with enough time left, he's scoring. So you got to learn how to keep the defense on the field as much as possible. I mean, as least as possible by keeping the ball as much as you can on the drives that you have offensively.
And that's the good thing about the Browns, because that's the same way the Patriots a couple of years ago continued to beat the Chiefs. Everybody wanted to know, like, man, what was the formula to beat Mahomes? And it was keeping the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And the Browns have that type of formula because they continually feed Nick Chubb. They're going to feed Nick Hunt. They're going to keep the clock moving, and they're going to keep the chains moving. Now it is on Baker Mayfield's shoulders to close the deal. They are still a young team, though. So I feel like with time that will come, especially throughout this season, you pick up solid W's, and toward playoff time, we can actually see them getting toward the place where they can close out big games. But I think it will be helped out this season. But we have to see Baker Mayfield improve. And I want to see the chemistry between him and OBJ. How is that going to be in these coming weeks? Like, is that going to be something that you struggled with last week, or is it going to be something that's mended and can take you over the top?
I don't even know when OBJ is coming back, because they just said today he's gonna miss this next game. I forgot who they're playing this coming Sunday, but OBJ is about to miss game 2. So I don't know how serious this OBJ injury still is. He's missing two of the first weeks of the regular season. So I hope he gets better soon and we can see him before like a 5 or 6 game stretch.
Because that's what they're missing too, bro. Like the big play ability from the Browns. They get it in the running game, but they don't get it enough with the passing. So Baker Mayfield can make the throws, because he made some throws this week that were big time. It just didn't happen toward the end of the game, but he's missing that big play threat, and that's Odell. So if you get the connection with Odell, that's you have everything you need, bro, to win. Like everything is there for the Browns. I predicted the Browns and the Rams Super Bowl, and I think we're gonna get it. Especially what I seen from the Rams, they look pretty dominant on both sides of the ball. So I'm liking my Super Bowl prediction right now, man. This shit looking pretty nice, man. And moving forward, let's move forward with the Cardinals and the Titans. So we see that the Cardinals beat up on the Titans, dog. I don't know what the fuck went on with the Titans. I thought they were going to be damn near unstoppable, because you got Julio, you got AJ Brown, you got Derrick Henry, you got the Tanny, and we see them niggas lay an egg against the Cardinals. Like, bro, what's good with them, bro? What's good with the Titans, and are the Cardinals legit?
I told you, bro, this AJ Green and D-Hop duo with Kyler Murray elevating his game, this shit was finna be scary, bro. Like, and I seen people saying on Twitter on game day, they was like, bro, like, we didn't expect this duo to be better than AJ Brown and Julio. I'm like, I told y'all this shit was gonna be scary. So I love what I'm seeing from Kyler Murray. And that defense, bro, with JJ Watt and Chandler Jones and them boys, bro, that defense is elite, bro. Like, they, even if they're, let's say, the worst team in their division, they're still a top 10 team easily in the NFC. Like, it's not even close. Like, I feel like they could still make a strong push for the playoffs, even with battling.
I think everybody in their division won too. I think everybody in their division won. The Rams won, Seahawks won, Niners won, and the Cardinals. Bro, that division finna be hectic. That division finna be hectic, bro. Oh,
everybody in that division won. The Rams have the number 1 spot, 49ers 2, Cardinals 3, Seahawks 4. And the Seahawks played a hell of a game, and they got the 4th spot. So that's even crazy.
I mean, it's one everybody want to know. But that shit is
I'm
crazy.
Just saying how they place it based on, like, how did you win, who did you play, and all. I feel like it's still crazy that even though the Seahawks played a good-ass game, the Cardinals, they just played a tad bit better, and they played the Titans, so that probably helped in the Cardinals' favor with the seeding right now.
But this is what I'll say about the Cardinals, because we were kind of having these same conversations a year ago. The team is different now because you have J.J. Watt, you have A.J. Green, you don't have Larry Fitz, but you get Rondale Moore, so you still have weapons on this team, Christian Kirk, so you still have a lot of weapons. But we seen this toward the beginning of last year with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray toward the beginning of last year, he was in MVP conversations. Like, I want to say he was top 3 last year. But then toward the tail end of the season, Kyler Murray, I think they started to lose games. He wasn't playing the same. I think he got hurt around the middle of the season.
He got hurt around the middle of the season.
They just didn't look the same. So the same conversation that we were having with the consistency we were talking about with Derek Carr. I want to see him play this way the entire season with Kyler Murray. I want to see this play the entire season. I understand the injury last season, so that can be an excuse for the drop off, but we have to see the consistency, because we've seen you get to the high, but then toward the end of last year, it was like, damn, Kyler Murray ain't the MVP. I think they ended up going like 8-8. They just weren't the same team. I want to see this high level of play every week from the Cardinals, because they have the talent, bro. Like, they can be a legit Super Bowl contender in the NFC, but I'm just scared for their division. You have so many people trying to fight out the division with the Niners, who beat up on the Lions. It's the Lions, but they still look impressive in the win. You had the Seahawks just beat a good team with the Colts. And then you had the Rams look dominant against the Bears. It's like you just got to scratch and claw just to get out of your division, but It's going to make you better playing against such tough competition. It's going to make you better, but that's what I'm worried about with the Cardinals. Are they going to get out of that division?
Only reason I can't say they're Super Bowl contenders is just because I really see at least 2 or 3 teams obviously having a better chance. The Bucks and the Rams I obviously hold. And they could be like a 4th option now that I think about it, because I'll still hold the Packers top 3.
Fuck no! After what you seen this week, Aaron Rodgers, no, bro. The Cardinals ahead. The Cardinals are ahead of the Packers, but going into this season, they was ahead of the Packers.
We got 16 games left, bro. A-Rod not gonna play like that every week. That's not.
He's not gonna play like that, but that team's still not good. That team not good enough.
I trust Aaron Rodgers enough to win 12 games out of 17. I trust him to win 12. I've seen enough A-Rod over 16, 17 years now to be confident to say he could pull this shit through to at least make the playoffs and be a top 3 Super Bowl.
You have offensive line issues, you have weapon issues, and your defense isn't high caliber like it was last season. This is not the same team, bro. If you get clapped like that by the Saints, like, you couldn't stop Jameis throwing the ball, you couldn't stop Kamara on the ground, and you just look inept on offense. Yes, we could chalk it up to it being week 1. They will not play like that next week. I will give you that. But that does not take away with the holes that they have on that roster, bro. People were saying, oh, Randall Cobb gonna be such a difference. We didn't even hear his name on Sunday. We didn't even hear his name, bro. So it's like, against the high caliber teams in the NFC, like, bro, you're going to have problems because they're going to have better teams than what the Saints had.
I ain't saying they ain't going to have problems, but I damn sure hold them in high regard right now. I say the Bucks, the Rams, the Packers, and I'll probably say the Seahawks right now, my top 4 NFC teams that I say are like Super Bowl contenders. I'm really just trusting A-Rod with the Green Bay pick. That's the only reason I wouldn't put the Cardinals in that conversation. As far as Kyler Murray with the MVP talk from last year, I don't think that'll carry over to this year because Matt Stafford, who is your MVP favorite for this season, I just feel like if Brady keep playing the way Brady play, he going to be in the conversation. Matt Stafford in the conversation. Patrick Mahomes. It's 3 to 4 people at least that I'm putting before Kyler Murray when it comes to the MVP talk. So even if the Cardinals play extremely well, I don't even think he'll be in the conversation just because too many other people will be playing well.
And I think the narrative is still with Russell Wilson as well. Like, I think people still want him to get that MVP. People want him to get the MVP last year, and we see him kind of tailed off as well toward the end of last season, and he lost that MVP steam. But I think people still want to give him the MVP because he hasn't had one over his illustrious career. So he's going to have the narrative on his side. Will he continue to be a top team in the NFC? I don't know. But I probably will have I definitely will have the Cardinals up there for contenders. The Bucks, the Rams. Who else did I like coming out of the NFC, bro? Bucks, Rams. I think those are the 3 I'm gonna stick with. I think those 3 teams showed that they were clearly above everybody else. I think those teams showed that they were clearly above everybody else. We just got to see throughout the season. But those 3 teams, I'm confident will get to the playoffs and will be contenders. I'm confident in it now at this point. And let's move on to the Patriots versus Miami Dolphins game, because this was a big matchup to me because last year Tua Tagovailoa just did not show up and did not perform and live up to expectations. But when you go into Foxborough and you beat a Patriots team coached by Bill Belichick with all the hype behind Mack Jones, somebody who played behind you, another Alabama quarterback in Mack Jones, a lot of pressure was on Tua to perform this week, and he got the W. But it's only week 1. So has Tua silenced his critics, or do we still have to see more throughout the season from him?
I feel like he's silenced his critics for now. I feel like at least for the next few games, we can't really say anything about Tua just off of the fact that so many critics were wondering if he was going to show up at all. The fact that we've seen him show up, we know he can play now. There is no more question marks. There's no more wondering, okay, can he actually do it? No, we've seen that he can do it. He was on the road in Foxborough. I don't care that the Brady era is over. That's one of the toughest places to go on the road and play just because of Belichick alone. So the fact that he went there and got the W, the familiarity that he showed playing with Jaylen Waddle, you know, his Bama wide receiver. Shout out to all the Bama QB wide receiver touchdowns that we got to see over the weekend. But I feel like Tua has definitely silenced the critics for now. He would have to play terrible again for somebody to say something.
I don't think Tua silences critics because it's only week 1. We have to see this consistently. Because last year he even had some good games where it was like, oh, Tua showed promise, but then the next week he fell through the cracks. It's like, damn, nigga, you just showed that you can play. Now you're not even looking like that same type of quarterback that you were the week before. So we have to see him string together like 4 or 5 games in a row where it's like, okay, now we see you consistently performing. But until then, I don't think he silenced his critics at this point. He had a good game, but it was still some plays that could have been made from his side where he did it. He left a lot available for the Patriots to win the game. I think a Damian Harris fumble ended up actually killing the Patriots' chances, but we have to see him like actually kill a team, like no mistakes, limited mistakes, like just don't turn the ball over type shit. We have to see that consistently. I think he can do it. I still think he was one of the most talented players in the draft last season. I think he will be a good quarterback for this team, but we just have to see it consistently. So I don't think he silenced his critics yet. And what other games stuck out to you this week?
What other games?
Other than Jameis going crazy and shit, because I know your ass was hating that shit.
Oh yeah, I don't even have a lot to say on that, but I will say I had this question honestly. I wasn't even trying to hate when I asked this, because when I seen this game happening, I felt like, I'm pretty sure everybody else felt the same way. There's no way we're watching this game right now. Were the Packers that bad, or were the Saints really that good? Because like I said, the Packers are not going to play like that multiple weeks throughout this season. That's not happening. A-Rod is not playing like that multiple weeks throughout this season. And I also had to look at it like Jameis Winston is not throwing 4 to 5 touchdowns every game this season, because I looked at the yardage compared to the amount of touchdowns he had. That running game with Alvin Kamara that they had was a huge reason on how he was able to get those 5 touchdowns. There was only one touchdown that he truly threw for like 50 yards and was like, okay, that's a Jameis touchdown. But other than that, it was a lot of drive the ball, red zone. Okay, I exposed the coverage within 20 yards. We got a touchdown. You know, so is Jameis going to play like that every week? No. And are the Packers going to be that bad every week? No.
I would give the Saints more credit than I would give the Packers, because the Saints were on the money with everything they were doing. But at the same time, the Packers did look so terrible. Like, a lot of passes that Aaron Rodgers was throwing just looked so unmotivated. Like, he was trying to prove a point that he didn't want to be there. Like, I remember that one pick that he ended up throwing to
at the end of the game. It was around the end of the game.
Was it the end of the game where he just threw it up? He threw it to Marcus Williams, and Marcus Williams ended up picking it off. I just felt like he wasn't giving a fuck. Like, he just threw that shit up like, man, y'all can have it at this point, because it wasn't even close to the receiver. It was like, that's so un-Aaron Rodgers like to see from him. So they made a lot of bad plays on their part, but I give the Saints a lot of credit because those cornerbacks stepped up. Marshawn Lattimore for the time that he played, and he got paid this week too. I think he got a 5-year, almost $100 million contract. That is well deserved. He played well. Marcus Williams, that secondary played well, but that offense played well too. And I can't give all the credit to just Kamara, because Jameis was a part of that running game too. Because I think the passing yards are kind of deceiving, because he didn't have a lot of passing yards. But Jameis played smart football, and people are not giving him credit for it. Like,
he did.
Jameis was in the. Because as a Buck fan, I know that you can relate to this. Jameis was in the pocket for 6 to 7 seconds. He had no pressure on him. He was just sitting in the pocket, waiting for somebody to get open. It was a play. He was looking. He threw the ball away after 6 seconds in the pocket. You know, if this was past Jameis would have ran around trying to force the ball to somebody. So he's becoming smarter in the decisions that he's making. In the positions where they were playing man coverage, he was running to get first downs. He was moving to change. Jameis played smart football. So yes, Jameis will not score 5 touchdowns every game. But if he plays smart football like that, the Saints will win a lot of games and potentially make the playoffs, because he did that without a Michael Thomas. They didn't even have a number 1 wide receiver in that game, and they still dominated thoroughly. So the Saints can be somebody who can be like, I won't say a dark horse contender or anything, but somebody you just have to watch out for. It's like, damn,
they can make the playoffs and have a first playoff round game scene.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. Like, I won't say nothing crazy like Super Bowl, but somebody you just have to look out for, because I didn't even have them making the playoffs. So to see that performance and just see them hitting on all cylinders like that was just really surprising to me, and I was proud to see it. So definitely shout out to the Saints, man. Definitely shout out to the Saints.
Oh, and shout out to Teddy Bridgewater. I watched some of that Broncos Giants game. Shout out to Teddy.
The Giants look so ass in that game too, bro. Oh my god, I don't know what has to change. It has to be Daniel Jones.
Did Saquon even get any yards, bro? I wouldn't even look at
this. I don't think Saquon played.
He only had 26 yards, 10 carries for 26 yards.
I didn't even know Saquon played.
Daniel Jones had more rushing yards on less attempts than Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, bro. Something has to change over there, bro, because that's not going to get it done. 20-7-13, and you win the NFC East. You already in the weakest division, so you feel like you should win games, especially after this Ryan Fitzpatrick injury. I know we was clowning on the Cowboys last week, where it's looking like, god damn, who are the Cowboys going to play really? Like, damn, you got going against the football team who just got their quarterback hurt. Maybe we see something out of Heineke. I don't know. You're going against the Giants, who you don't know what you're going to get out of the Giants. Sometimes they can surprise you. Sometimes they just disappoint like they did this week. And then you have the Eagles, who surprised me by beating up on the Falcons this week, but still are not on the football team or the Cowboys level. So the Cowboys probably going to have like a clear walk to the playoffs. I ain't gonna lie.
something that I've seen from this game is the fact that Daniel Jones actually didn't have a bad game. It's just they couldn't run the ball to assist him with the game he was having. He threw for damn near 300 yards and was throwing like at least 75 to 80% on his completion rate. So I feel Daniel Jones showed some strength in that game. It's just if you can't run the ball, if you're Saquon Barkley and you can't even stay in the game, or you can't even get 70 yards at least rushing for the game, like you're gonna have a terrible time if you're the Giants in that division.
All right, man, and let's move forward with week 2. Let's move forward to some of the big games to look forward to. So this week we have the Bills versus Dolphins. Looking at this game, man, this is going to be an interesting game because it's going to show us a lot about the Bills. Coming off a big loss against the Steelers, where a lot of people were pushing on that Bills bandwagon like, oh, Super Bowl contenders, and Pittsburgh had to put them in their place. So having a bounce back game against the Dolphins coming off a huge win is going to show you a lot. Are you really that team that people say you are, Bills? Or are the Dolphins going to show you that they're the real team coming out of the AFC East? It's going to be a real interesting game for the Bills. That's what I'm really looking to see next week.
I'm not gonna hop off the Bills train. I got the Bills going to the Super Bowl, top 3 team in the AFC. Yeah, they got punched in the mouth week 1, but it was the Steelers. Like I don't got the Steelers making the playoffs, but that don't mean I don't look at them still as the Steelers, a team who can win a good 75% of their scheduled games. You know, a team that can still give you very tough games week in, week out. Ben Roethlisberger is in good shape, and he played pretty well in week 1, you know. So the Steelers loss, I don't hold that too high on the Bills. First off, it was week 1. A lot of good teams lost week 1. And then second off, I feel like if the Bills were to meet them again later down the line, later into the season, the Bills are winning that matchup. So I feel they'll go to Miami and they'll get that dub on the road. And it won't be no strike against Tua. I feel like Tua will still have a pretty decent game. But Josh Allen is going to start putting on that MVP performance like I'm hoping for. And I feel the Bills will get that dub.
All right, next game on the docket, we have the Rams versus Colts, which is an interesting matchup because, yes, we see the Rams beat up on the Bears like that, but the Bears are really inept to me, bro. Riding out with Andy Dalton, it's a lot of issues going on in Chicago. I feel like going against a team like the Colts, who are really structured, even though they're coming off a loss, is going to be a higher caliber of a test because their defense is still stacked for that team. So how do you see things shaking out in this game?
I honestly got the Rams winning by at least 2 touchdowns. I feel like Matt Stafford, what he showed us on this previous Sunday, I feel it's going to show again in this next game. Jaylen Ramsey, bro, I love the way they have Jaylen Ramsey playing now. He's playing a lot more press coverage. He's playing a lot more he's roaming the field a lot more than what he usually does. They usually have him out on an island, just playing one-on-one coverage most of the time. He looked so excited while he was playing. He was doing a lot more blitz packages. He was doing a lot more reading of the QB and following the QB on certain plays. So if they continue playing Jaylen Ramsey like that, along with Aaron Donald just dominating the D-line, I feel like
they are going to the Super Bowl.
They're gonna run.
They are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I ain't gonna argue on that. They got the second
it was on the tip of your tongue. I just finished your sentence. It was on the tip of your tongue.
They got the second best chance. If they make it, that's not going to be a shock at all. Especially with you picking Matt Stafford for MVP.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to this game because I want to see how Carson Wentz responds. Because even though they lost to the Seahawks this week, I still see them making the playoffs. But we have to see some consistency on offense. The offense just didn't look good against the Seahawks. And it's not like the Seahawks have a crazy defense. So playing against a team with Aaron Donald, Jaylen Ramsey, and all of them boys with the Rams, it's like we have to see something from you, Carson Wentz, before we start to question you again. This is make or break time for Carson Wentz because he doesn't perform this year. What are we saying? Are we saying Carson Wentz is done as a starting QB? What are we saying? Because you have all the pieces. You have all the pieces, bro. It's no excuse no more. This ain't Philly. You got the O-line. You got everything you need. So he has to perform. So if we get 4 weeks into the season and the Colts haven't lived up to expectations, we are going to start to question. So we have to see some type of promise, even though they're playing against the Rams, bro. And next we had the Chiefs versus Ravens. So the Ravens had a solid game on Monday Night Football, even though they lost. But we seen in the past seasons, the Chiefs just have the Ravens number, bro. And I think last year, Lamar Jackson even admitted it himself. Do you see something changing, or is this going to be the same old story?
This is going to be the same old story for this game just because the Ravens have too many injuries. Yeah, I pointed out a lot of good things that they do have going for them offensively, but defensively, missing Marcus Peters, just not having that experience of a secondary. Patrick Mahomes is just going to eat that alive. It's going to be at least a 20-point difference in this score.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I don't see this being close at all. I think Chiefs run away with this game. Honestly, it's only a 3.5 spread. Like, if I was if I bet it on games, like I would bet on the Chiefs minus 3.5. Honestly, bro, I would bet on that. And let's move forward to college football. And I want to recap week 2 real quick because we seen Oregon get a big win against Ohio State this week. And we also seen Iowa beat Iowa State, and they moved all the way up to number 5. So first, I want to ask you, after seeing what you've seen from Oregon, are they a legit college football playoff contender, or are you scared of somebody else coming out of the Pac-12 that can knock them off? We talked about USC. We talked about UCLA coming out of the Pac-12. Do you think that this was a one-off game for Oregon, or do you think they can run off into the college football playoff?
I don't think they can run off into the college football playoff because I'm looking at it right now. I feel like UCLA could be that team that sneaks up on them. I felt that way about Utah a little bit, but once Utah caught that L, I was like, okay, y'all kind of out the picture now. So UCLA has the best chance. I don't see anybody else stepping up to Oregon. But if UCLA loses a game early and they ruin their chances of going anywhere past number 10, it's Oregon's to lose for the Pac-12 at that point.
Because Oregon is currently ranked at 3rd in the AP poll right now. So they're slated, if they were to win out, obviously, they would be into the college football playoff. But in the game on Saturday, even though they won, they show a lot of holes, even though they beat a solid Ohio State team. Like, it was moments throughout the game where it's like Oregon should have thoroughly dominated this matchup, but they can't continue to leave the door open for Ohio State to just keep getting back in the game, So there's holes there, and I don't know how much I like their quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be good enough to come through in a late night game if you're playing at UCLA, or if you're playing against the USC, who are a scrappy team, and they're probably going to have a new coach because they fired Clay Helton this week. I don't know if you're going to beat them in a late matchup. You know, Arizona State, you got some teams in your division, your conference, that I'm kind of like, I don't know that you're going to play like you played against Ohio State every game, because I know Oregon, and Oregon just hasn't been that team for the past few years. And with the quarterback play, I'm just not confident that we will see consistency, because the quarterback play is solid, but I don't know if he's going to play solid against a UCLA or a USC. I don't know. So I don't think they are legit. I think somebody else knocks them off in their conference.
I wouldn't be surprised if they get knocked off, but they can definitely go on a run at least until, a little over halfway into the season, keeping that top 10 spot. They're actually number 4 right now. Bama's 1, Georgia's 2, Oklahoma's 3, Oregon's 4, and Iowa's 5, and Clemson is sitting outside at 6. I honestly feel like Iowa is going to jump past Oregon over the next couple weeks, even if they both continue to win. I feel like Iowa is just a much tougher team. That O-line and that quarterback that they have, it's amazing what I'm seeing right now from Iowa. I don't think Iowa's had a light on them like this in a very, very long time.
Look up Iowa's schedule, because yes, you beat Iowa State, but I think this is one of those early in the season rankings where it's like, it's not going to be like that for long. I think Iowa goes up against a team like Ohio State, Penn State, and ends up getting knocked off. I don't think Iowa is, because all around they're solid. I watched the game against Iowa State. They're a good team, but they're not a college football playoff team. Like, I still feel like a team like Ohio State is going to knock them off when they see each other.
I ain't even going to lie to you. This will be one of the most impressive runs to the college football playoff if Iowa gets there. Next week, this Saturday, they play Kent State. Week after that, they play Colorado State. But after that, they play Maryland. Then they play Penn State. And in a couple weeks, they play Wisconsin. then in another couple weeks, Minnesota, then Illinois, then Nebraska to finish the season off. Those are all tough games. And Wisconsin is ranked, Penn State is ranked, and yeah, everybody else is unranked, but still, like, you have 2 tough teams left that are highly ranked, and then everybody else is going to be a dogfight. So if Iowa makes the college football playoff, that will be one of the most impressive college football playoff runs.
But I feel like one of those unranked teams will knock them off. I just don't get confidence from Iowa. Like, they are just not able to get upset. Like, they didn't give me that type of vibe. I think everybody's on any given Saturday, somebody's getting upset, and I think Iowa's going to be one of those teams that are 5 at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose 3 games by the end of the season. Like, they're that type of team. Like, if you show me something consistently, that's what I have to go off of. I have to go off your track record. We have never seen Iowa in this type of position before. I don't even know how they were so highly ranked coming into the season. Like, I think they were 10 coming into the season. So I've never seen them ranked that high, but it's like, I have to go off your track record. And your track record says y'all going to lose 3 to 4 games. Y'all going to lose the teams like Maryland. Y'all going to lose the teams like Penn State. Y'all going to lose the teams like Wisconsin.
I think they came in so highly ranked, and a couple other teams did too. It was a couple other teams. I'm like, you guys have never touched the top 25 like ever, and all of a sudden you're there. I think they're starting to, the NCAA, I believe they're starting to be more inclusive when it comes to respecting teams that have winning records repeatedly. I think they're starting to know, as teams like Iowa, even teams like Boise State, it's like, okay, we know even if y'all not going to last in this top 25, we'll respect y'all by putting y'all in there because you're dominating your conference just about every other year, or you're one of the top 3 teams at least. So I feel like Iowa and Iowa State are both examples of, okay, we'll put y'all in this position, but y'all got to hold it. If you can't hold it, then we know not to do this shit again next time. If y'all have a good enough record, y'all really going to have to show us repeatedly again before we put y'all in that type of situation.
Yeah, I feel the same way, bro. And moving forward, I want to talk about the week 3 of college football, because this week we do have the Alabama versus Florida matchup. I want to talk about Florida because I think this game is going to be a blowout, especially if Emory Jones starts. I think this is going to be a blowout. Whoever starts, honestly, is going to be a blowout, but it's going to be more of a blowout. It's going to be more of a blowout if Emory Jones plays. I don't know if you watched the game on Saturday against USF, but boy,
yeah,
it was such a difference in quarterback. So Anthony Richardson, who's coming in, who's the redshirt freshman at this point, looks amazing. Every time he gets in, he makes some sort of electric play. We seen one of the plays that he made where he got hit. He ended up throwing it like 50 yards, like to Jacob Copeland down the sideline. I think he showed that he is the starting quarterback for this team moving forward. But he's hurt this week. I think he's hurt. He has some type of hamstring issue. It looked like in that USF game. So I don't know if he's going to play. But Emory Jones showed me that he's not the guy, bro. Like, decision-making wise, he's not the guy. Because he was making throws into quadruple coverage against USF, where it's like, why are you throwing to a guy who's quadruple covered in the red zone? Like, he can sling the ball, bro, but he is just not ready mentally for this type of stage. So it's like, just give the young boy Anthony Richardson his shot, bro. I think he's earned it at this point.
And I'm really upset with Dan Mullen because everybody knows who needs to be the starter for this upcoming game. And he's just telling all these reporters, why do you guys keep asking? Like, why do you guys never ask about who's starting for this position? Because this is the position that's going to be the difference maker in whether y'all get blown out by Bama or have a respectable loss and prove that y'all are a top 10 worthy team against Alabama. You know, so I feel like the fact that Dan is choosing loyalty over choosing what is actually the right decision, that's bothering me right now. Yes, Emory Jones paid his dues being here throughout the whole time Franks was here, throughout the whole time Kyle Trask was starting and everything. But I kept telling people, bro, the times Emory Jones got in games, he was playing so predictable. I knew what he was going to do before he actually did certain plays. They weren't playing him like a true quarterback or giving him any type of true QB reps. And I'm like, okay, one offseason out of 3 to 4 years of you being here is not going to be what separates you from who you were into what you're going to be in this new season. So I agree. Anthony Richardson needs to be the starter. Dan Mullen got to cut that loyalty shit out because UF fans are pissed off right now. We are going to be pissed if Saturday comes and AR-15 is not the starting quarterback because we know what's going to happen. I'm sorry for Emory Jones. It may not be fair. You may got to sit out after waiting all these years at UF, but it has to happen, bro. Just to keep Florida's respect up there, bro.
We finna get 50 ball. If Emory Jones is the quarterback, we are getting 50 ball. I don't care. We're getting 50 ball.
I don't expect us to win. If we win,
I don't expect to win at all. I don't expect to win at all.
That's the biggest upset of the year if we win. If Anthony Richardson starts and somehow gets us a dub against Alabama, you got to put him in the Heisman conversation. That gives him a Heisman conversation off real. The only dude to beat Bama the whole season.
And I said this on Twitter. I said, man, if this dude comes in and continues to play like he's playing, he will be the quarterback that will be second to Tebow in Florida history. Because how he's playing, how fast he is, how big he is, the arm he has, I have to give him that spot right behind Tebow. Like, he's going to be better than Tebow or right up there with Tebow by the end of his career. What I see, he's going to be up there. He's going to be up there, bro.
I can't do that, bro. I got to see it before I do it. Even if I see potential.
I've seen enough.
I won't speak it into existence, bro, because what Kyle Trask did, Kyle Trask was phenomenal.
Kyle Trask lost us 4 games. I don't give a fuck.
Nah, bro.
I ain't giving that nigga all that credit.
What Kyle Trask did for the record books that the records of Tebow that he broke along with other Gator greats before him, bro. Kyle Trask put on one of the greatest UF quarterback seasons that we've seen since Tebow.
Man.
So I can't put nobody. It's Tebow and Kyle Trask. You got to at least show me you can be better than Kyle Trask.
He finna be better than Trask for sure. Trask didn't even run the football.
It remains to be seen, bro. It remains to be seen.
My boy can run and
I don't even like the fact that he got 15, honestly. I feel like 15 should have.
Yeah, why is that? Why does he have 15?
I really don't know. I don't even think I've seen anybody with 15.
No. I thought it was retired. It should be retired. Nobody touches it.
Nobody should touch 15 at all. I don't even know. No, people aren't saying anything about it. Like, are we okay with this? Like,
I think in week 1 people was talking about it, but like it was like kind of like what it is. I guess Tebow had to have given him permission to wear it. That has to be the thing, because usually with certain numbers at school you have to get permission. Because I know with number 7 at LSU you have to get permission from the past number 7s to see if you're worthy to wear it. Because I think this year Derek Stingley has number 7. I think Delpit had it. Patrick Peterson had it. Matthew had it in the past. So you have to get permission. So I think Richardson had to get permission to wear it. Yeah, Leonard Fournette wore it. So yeah, you have to get permission to wear it. So it's like certain numbers, like they're not in the Raptors, but you just got to get permission because that's an exclusive ass number. If you put on 15, you got to be that nigga.
I think they in Louisville, I think they're retiring Lamar Jackson jersey number. So I know who's going to Louisville? But I'm just saying for an example, like if niggas out here retiring Lamar Jackson number, we gotta retire Tebow number, bro.
I think Tebow's number is retired, but I think you could just wear it again. So I think even though Lamar Jackson's number is going to be retired, if somebody asks him permission to wear it, that somebody else can wear number 8. So that's the thing. Like Tebow's number is retired. He's up there on like the Ring of Honor or whatever they have. So his number is retired, but you can just wear their numbers and I understand why they do it in college, because so many players that come in year by year where you don't want to limit the numbers. Like if we retire so many numbers like every year, it's like, we're going to be limited at numbers. Like we need everybody to have their different number. We just can't shut off like 15 different numbers because they're in the Hall of Fame or whatever. So I get it in college football.
I don't know. I feel like with college, you got to treat it like the pros, bro. Once that shit retired, nobody can touch that shit again. Nobody. Like if you go to the Chicago Bulls and see fucking Zach LaVine wearing number 23, everybody finna storm the court and beat this nigga ass. Because what are you doing?
Yeah. But that's the only big game of week 3 to me. It's some other ranked matchups, but they're not really exciting for real. A lot of teams are playing in the unranked games. We got Auburn versus Penn State in a 22 versus 10 matchup. Arizona State versus BYU, but other than that, it's not really any exciting things. And I hate that they're building up the Florida and Alabama game because it's like it's not going to be a game. Like this is going to be a beatdown.
I don't know, bro. Did you say Oklahoma and Nebraska? I feel like that's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about Nebraska. Yeah,
For real?
that was
I
was
mean,
pushing.
I got Oklahoma winning, obviously, but I feel like it'll be a good game though. As far as like games to actually watch, I feel like that'll be a good game.
Because isn't that where Scott Frost have Nebraska, ain't he? Yeah, I don't think that program is ready for success. So, yeah, and I don't think they have the quarterback position. I think we talked about this before. Like at certain programs, you just have to have that quarterback to get you big wins or even get you upset wins at a team like Nebraska. I don't think he has that quarterback to move forward in his program at this moment. And before we move on to 2 Wild Wednesday, we're gonna go through the NFL picks for week 2. So in the first game on Thursday night, we got Giants versus Washington.
Even with the quarterback situation with Washington, I'm still gonna pick them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to Washington. 49ers versus Eagles.
49ers.
This is a close spread, too. 49ers -3. The Eagles look good last week. I'm going to go 49ers, though. Keep it safe. Also, I'm gonna give my boy his credit because he did go 11-5 last week in week 1.
Hey,
I went 8-8 last week. I went 8-8 last week. So if y'all don't know, we got money on the line. We bet in 60 because we also have some other people involved. So the pie is at 60. Whoever wins gets $60. Last year it was at 20. But yeah, he got off to a good start. But I'm coming for his ass though. So that's all that matters. So yeah, I got Niners. Bengals versus Bears.
Who at home?
Bears.
I'm gonna give it to the Bears. Justin Fields, he gonna have a great first home game.
So you think they're making the switch this game?
I feel like whether he starts or whether he just get in the game, he's gonna have a great game regardless.
And let's talk about that shit. What are the Bears doing with what they're doing with Fields? Because in the game versus the Rams, they put him in situational moments, like some moments in the red zone they put him in, or some moments on 3rd and 1 they put him in. But it's like when he gets a first down, I think he ended up scoring a touchdown at some point in the red zone. He ended up throwing a pass. He would look good. It's just like, why do we just not stick with this? Like you can feel it's a different type of energy on the field when he's playing, but then you stick with Andy Dalton. Because look, it was one possession where I think Fields ended up getting him to like the 3-yard line. That's when he threw the pass. He got him to the 3-yard line. They put Andy Dalton in the next play. Andy Dalton throws a pick.
Right.
If that's not the epitome of what the Bears got going on right now, I don't know what is. Like you keep taking this nigga out, and Andy Dalton is just gonna fuck up the bag, bro.
You have to make a decision. If you're gonna go with Andy Dalton, go with it all the way until he just fucks up so bad that you have to put Justin Fields in. But if you're gonna go with Justin Fields, just ride out with Justin Fields the entire season, like unless an injury happens, knock on wood, something like that. But you got to make a decision. You can't keep doing this, play this quarterback for this many snaps, and then once they get to this side of the field, then put this QB in for a couple of plays. Like, no, like that has to stop. That's some week 1 shit, but don't carry that through the rest of the season.
And somebody had ended up bringing up a great point of the coach is coaching for his job. The only reason he honestly has a job at this point is because they drafted Justin Fields. If they didn't get Justin Fields, he probably would have been fired already. So Justin Fields is the reason you have a job. Play him. I think that's the reason that he's only getting a couple of snaps because he wants to give the fans like that little hope. Like, oh, I played Justin Fields. You can't say I didn't play him. It's like, nigga, he should be starting. Like, what are you doing? He should be starting. Like, even if he messes up, like, you should have him live through those experiences, bro. Don't have him watch behind Andy Dalton. It's like it's Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton gonna be fucking up more than he doing good shit anyway. You're gonna be picking up bad habits from Andy Dalton at this point in his career. So it's like, just put in a young boy. If he fucks up, he fucks up. But you gotta ride with him at this point, bro. Come on. And this is the perfect game. You're going against the Bengals? Come on, bro. Make that switch. Make that switch. Right. I got the Bears, though. Bills versus Dolphins.
I got the Bills.
I got Bills, too. Let me stop. Broncos versus Jags.
I'm going to go with the Jags.
I'm going to go with the Broncos. Urban Meyer gets fired next week. Patriots versus Jets.
Patriots versus Jets. This gonna be a way better game than people are expecting. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Whoa, that's a good pick. I got
I'ma go
Patriots
with
though.
the
I got
Jets.
Patriots. Raiders versus Steelers.
Steelers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Steelers. Rams versus Colts.
Rams.
Rams. Saints versus Panthers.
Saints.
Panthers. Texans versus Browns.
I had upset of the week with that Texas pick. I had upset of the week with that.
No,
shit.
you had to pick up the toilet bowl. That was the toilet bowl game.
Damn. You said Cleveland?
Yeah, Texans versus
Oh
Browns.
yeah, Cleveland.
Yeah, Browns for sure. Falcons versus Bucks.
Bucks.
Bucks, and I think I'm gonna hop on your bandwagon of not picking the Falcons for the rest of the season because what the fuck was that in week 1? Like, what was that? Like, them niggas showed me nothing in week 1. Did the Falcons get worse? Bro, for real, did the Falcons get worse over the all season, dog? Like, that shit was so embarrassing on what I seen on Sunday.
I wanted to text Black today. I had forgot throughout the middle of the day, but I wanted to text him today and let him know that I picked Kyle Pitts to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. However, in order for that to happen, Matt Ryan has to play well. And if Matt Ryan plays well, it'll influence Atlanta to keep him, which will mess up my 2-year-long prediction of Cam Newton being picked up by the Atlanta Falcons. So if I have to sacrifice Kyle Pitts winning Offensive Rookie of the Year just so Cam can get to Atlanta, I'm sorry, Pitts, but I'll have to take that. The Falcons, I don't know what the hell is going on. That curse is still there.
Yeah, I'm rocking with the Bucks. Vikings versus Cardinals.
Do I see an upset with that? Nah, the Cardinals got that. Another week of electrifying plays.
Cardinals. We got Cowboys versus Chargers. We also just got news that DeMarcus Lawrence will be out for an indefinite amount of time with the foot issue. That's a big loss for the Cowboys, who had a surprising game against the Bucks this past Thursday.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I'm gonna rock out with the Cowboys. Titans versus Seahawks.
Seahawks.
If the Titans go 0-2, dog. If the Titans go 0-2, man, that's gonna look bad, dog. That's gonna look bad. I got the Titans, man. I'm rocking out with the Tanny. Chiefs versus Ravens.
Chiefs.
Lions versus Packers.
Packers.
Packers for sure. Yep, man, I'm coming for that ass. That's all I need to know. That's all you need to know.
And one more thing I wanted to talk about before we get to 2 Hour Wednesday. Eric Bieniemy, I need you to listen to me. Please take this job at USC because I feel like this will be something that can already boost the amazing career that you have as far as being a coach. I feel like Eric Bieniemy is the perfect match for USC. They're looking for a coach who has NFL DNA, who has more NFL DNA than Eric Bieniemy. He's one of the cream of the crop assistant coaches right now. He's been listening to other NFL head coaching positions over the past year or two now. So I feel like this USC transition will be good. He's from LA, so that makes sense. And he used to coach UCLA running backs in the early 2000s. So he's familiar with coaching in the LA area when it comes to college. So I feel like USC is a perfect match for Eric Bieniemy. I feel like he should go there, build that brand back up because they haven't been big since Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush days. So I feel USC and Eric Bieniemy are the best matches for each other. Other than Eric Bieniemy, I say maybe Doug Peterson. But other than those two names, yeah, I don't see anybody else being successful with that position.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to turn him around at this point. I knew Clay Helton was the guy. He should have been fired last year. I don't even know why they kept him, honestly, but it is what it is. Hopefully they do get Bieniemy though. But at the same time, I want Bieniemy to get a high-profile NFL job. It pays more money, and I feel like he's going to get a good job too because he's going to be the first person people think about when they come about job openings. So whoever gets fired this year, we have like 6 or 7 jobs that usually open up every year. I feel like he should high key wait to see what happens and then see if that USC is really hitting on it. I don't think he should really look into it at this point. Wait until the end of the season because USC ain't going to hire nobody until he makes a decision. Yeah. I think he's USC's first option. So if they're going to wait on him, they're going to have an interim coach for this point moving forward. So at the end of the season, that's when they're going to make the decision. But they're waiting on Bieniemy. But I think he should wait for the NFL job first, though.
I'd rather USC just play the rest of the season out with an interim coach anyway, because I feel like all of the candidates they have are either coaching right now or they're trying to fight for their NFL jobs that they currently have. So I feel like USC should just take this season as an L and just wait for the offseason to figure out who they want.
Yep. All right, bro. Let's move on to 2 Wild Wednesday.
All right. First one. Jameis Winston will be a top 5 leader in touchdowns this season. Too wild or not too wild?
Not too wild, man. Getting off to a good start. And he's going to have those same type of opportunities that he had in this week 1 matchup. I think they're going to get him down. He's going to throw it to number 83. Because number 83, I'm blanking on his name, Jawan Jones or something like that. Mm-hmm. He's a new tight end, but that boy was getting it. Like, the athleticism on that dude was crazy. But I like the connection.
I say too wild. If I had to just spitball some names, I know Matt Stafford, his number's going to be crazy. Patrick Mahomes, of course. Russell Wilson. I got Justin Herbert going crazy with touchdowns. And maybe Tom Brady at 5. So he'll probably be fighting for that 5th spot if I don't give that to Brady. But I say too wild. I feel like it's too many names. Oh, Kyler Murray, too. I feel like Kyler Murray will probably have more than him.
I think a lot of those quarterbacks are going to have good seasons, but I think touchdowns are kind of different. I think those quarterbacks will have a lot of passing yards, but the touchdowns sometimes don't equate to the passing yards. Sometimes you can have like 5,000 passing yards and only like 35 touchdowns. I feel like Jameis might not have the yards like those quarterbacks, but his touchdowns are going to be up there just like on what I said before. He's going to be put in a position.
And not too wild is winning that poll, 75% right now. Next one. Ron Rivera hurt his playoff chances by not picking up Cam Newton. Too wild or not too wild?
That was big. I heard they haven't even talked to Cam at this moment. They rocking out with Taylor Heineke. Heineke's solid, but is he giving you to the playoffs? No. I think people going too crazy over that playoff game. When he had played against the Bucks, people going too crazy because nobody had tape on this nigga. Nobody had tape. This nigga just came out and played for the Reds for the football team, and nobody had tape, so he looked like a damn stud. He ain't that good. Trust me, I seen Heineke when he was in Carolina, bro. I know this nigga Heineke, bro. He backed up Cam in Carolina. He not that crazy. Trust me, he ain't. So I know this nigga Heineke isn't that good. So he gonna be solid, but nothing crazy. Not getting you to the playoffs.
And I'm glad you brought that up because if you were backing up Cam in Carolina and you're Ron Rivera and you know he was backing up Cam, you know Cam is a better quarterback than this man. So why haven't you guys tried to call him or get in some type of contact?
I think it's more so a distraction thing from the organization's perspective. I think if they bring in Cam, a distraction is going to come with it. Like, oh, when is Cam going to start? Like, they're scared of the questioning of the attention of Cam. It was the same thing with Cap. People were scared to bring Cap on because the attention he would bring. Same thing with Tebow. A lot of quarterbacks or a lot of teams were scared to bring him on because the attention he will bring. And when you bring somebody like Cam, who is an alpha male, who he walks into the room and you know he's the guy, and you see Taylor Heineke and that nigga is not like that, niggas are going to gravitate toward this nigga Cam, and they don't want that type of division in the locker room. That's why a lot of teams are trying their hardest to not pick up Cam at this moment. But we just continue to wait for another injury, but I don't think Washington wants a distraction, even though I don't think it's the best for their team.
I don't know, bro. I picked not too wild, and not too wild is one in the poll, 59%. I feel like Ron Rivera, you made a big mistake. Not at least contacting Cam. Now, whether or not he agreed to it or not, that's a whole nother thing. But the fact that they didn't even reach out to him, I felt like as soon as Fitzpatrick went down, they should have picked up the phone and was like, okay, get Cam. Because you know he's starting. If Cam walks in, and you look at Taylor Heineke and you look at Cam Newton, you know, like you just said, you know who the guy is. It shouldn't even be any drama with that.
Even at this point in Cam's career, bro, I'm still going with Cam over Heineke. I'm telling you. I think Washington fans are really just hyped up in that playoff game. Like a lot of people seeing that playoff game was like, this nigga can be the starting quarterback. Oh my God. And it's just like, bro, he's not going to play like this for 16 to 17 games. He's not. If a team gets tape on him, he's cooked. It's the same thing in the game against whoever they played this week. Who football team played this week? They played the Chargers this week.
Yeah,
they played the Chargers. He just came into the game after Fitzpatrick got hurt. Nigga, we didn't even prepare for you. So it's like, damn, he had a solid game in his first matchup. But I'm telling you, next week going to be tough for him. Oh, they playing against the Giants. So maybe the week after that. The week after that, week 3 is going to be tougher.
But it still might prove your point. They're playing the Giants. So are you going to get exposed against a trash team like the Giants? Or are you going to ball out and keep up the facade with the Washington fans? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr will be a dark horse for MVP. Too wild or not too wild?
Too wild. It's more so on the team. I don't know how much I trust the Raiders, man. Some games they look good. Sometimes some games they just look like what the fuck going on. So I just don't trust the Raiders.
I said not too wild. Too wild is winning the poll though, 76%. But Henry Ruggs has definitely improved in his route running and his breakaway ability from corners, like, because that was a huge problem last season. Like, he can't separate. He can't get any separation. He was able to do that in this game, and I feel like as long as Derek Carr is healthy, he could be a dark horse candidate for that MVP. Next one. Florida will upset Alabama this Saturday. Too wild or not too wild?
Too wild as fuck. That should have been 100%.
I only said not too wild just because I went there, honestly.
Too wild as fuck, man.
I'm surprised. It's not too wild is winning that poll, 57%. So are y'all just saying it like, did y'all just do not too wild like me just because it's the Gators and you a Gator, or do you honestly think like that shit?
Niggas want to see an upset, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
This was probably my favorite one of the day. Jackson State University will have a top 10 recruiting class next season. Too wild or not too wild?
Not too wild, man. We talked about this yesterday. When you have a personality like Deion Sanders running your organization, it's like you're gonna get people in the door, bro. You're gonna get 5 stars. They had got a lot of 5-star recruits last summer coming into this season, so they're gonna get a lot of 5 stars, 4 stars coming in to be a part of that program. People want to be coached by him.
Because he already has people coming in from Florida, from Auburn, like from top SEC schools, ACC. I think even a couple from like maybe 1 or 2 from the Big Ten, you know. So he's getting big recruits already, and we're not even halfway into the season yet. So I feel like as the season goes and people get more tape and people see how he's building this program, I feel like next season for sure he's going to have a top 10 recruiting class because he's already about to break the top 20, and they have one of the lowest budgets out of all these teams. So the fact that the budget is low, but he's still getting people to buy into it and, you know, try to really go with that HBCU pull that he got, I feel like they could be top 10 for sure.
And we talked about this earlier this week too, about I don't want him to go all in with the 5 stars and the 4 stars. I still want him to keep the essence of HBCUs at the same times. Like at your skill positions, yes, get the best players possible. But we know at most HBCUs is going to be a lot of 2-star, 3-star, not highly recruited players. I want those players to still get highlighted and still get attention so they can get their NFL dreams to come true because they have potential as well. So let's not just get stuck on the 5 stars. Let's not get stuck on the stars is what I'm saying. Like there's still a lot of good, talented players that are at the HBCU level that you can coach up to become NFL players. So even though you're getting all of these highly ranked recruits, still focus on getting the talented 2 stars as well.
But I think he is doing that even with the transfers that he's getting because some of these transfers, they probably weren't playing well at the top schools that they were at. That's probably why they chose to transfer. I doubt many of them left good positions with top tier schools to come to Jackson State. If they did, that's great. You really buying into the dream at that point. But I feel like a lot of these players, either weren't getting enough playing time or they might have lost their spot to somebody else and they're looking for a better situation. So these might be 4 to 5 star players, but they might truly be 2 to 3 stars, but just got that chance to be at that level. So I feel like he's going to do what you said. Deion knows how to find dogs and players. So I feel like he'll definitely learn how to groom the people who are already there while getting the big names.
Yeah, but even in that situation, even if a 4-star wasn't playing, I think that's more so on opportunity rather than talent. Like I think they're still talented as a 4-star, but at the big school, you probably had somebody who was older than you or just flat out better than you that was in front of you. But they're still like a 4 or 5-star talent. I still want him to bring in like 2-star recruits that are 2-star recruits that they're at that talent level, but you build them up to be NFL caliber. You building them up, not somebody who you just get handed and you know they NFL as soon as they walk through the door. Like so build up, continue to build up the program with those other people like from Jackson State.
I see what you're saying. 57% not too wild is winning that poll. Next one. The Bills are overrated and are not Super Bowl contenders. Too wild or not too wild?
I wanted you to really emphasize that overrated. That's why I was in caps right there. But yes, the Bills are overrated. They are not Super Bowl contenders. I'm not somebody who was high on the Bills. They had a good year last year, but I think the AFC got better. And I don't think the Bills are on the level as the Browns or the Chiefs. I think it's the Browns, Chiefs, and it's a drop-off. That's when you got the Bills. You can maybe say the Steelers could possibly be up there, but I think it's a drop-off in that first and second tier, and I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders for real.
I say too wild. Week 1, I feel just kind of shook everybody. I think it was the way Pittsburgh won, not even just the fact that they won. But Bills are definitely still a top 3 AFC team, definitely a huge Super Bowl contender. I've been saying the Bills since we started the pod in 2019. So this is my 3rd season letting y'all know the Bills are for real and they have a chance to make the Super Bowl this season. But this poll is 50-50 right now. Out of 48 votes, it's cut even at 50%.
That's crazy as hell.
Next one. The Aaron Rodgers drama will derail the Packers season. Too wild or not too wild?
This one I was kind of.
I say too wild.
I don't think they have a bad game like they showed against the Saints, but it's like it has to be causing some sort of distraction in the locker room for you guys to show up like that. Like that's crazy. Like we've never seen them boys put up like a straight up stinker like that, and everybody just looks so disconnected. So I don't assume they played that the whole season, but it's something going on in that locker room, bro, that people don't want to talk about. So I'm gonna say not too wild.
Because when you say derail, I'm thinking like, do you mean missing
Not
the
made playoffs,
or do you? Yeah. Oh, okay. Or even get into the playoffs and just playing absolutely terrible. One of those two options. But I said too wild though, and too wild is winning 63% right now. Browns versus Chiefs was an AFC Championship preview. Too wild, not too wild.
Not too wild.
I say not too wild. I would say the Bills and the Chiefs would be my AFC Championship, but Browns could definitely get that too. Not too wild is winning that 75%. The Titans will be the biggest disappointments of the season. Too wild or not too wild?
Do not want to admit it, but if week 1 was any indication, my God, they have a lot of holes, bro. They have a lot of holes, like especially on defense. I knew they were going to have holes on defense. I think I said that when they made that Julio trade. But that offense, I thought was going to be way more high-powered than it is. I know that everybody still has to come together. Julio didn't have a good game. The offensive line didn't have a good game. Chandler Jones had like 5 sacks for the Cardinals in like the first 3 quarters. That nigga was going crazy against they tackle. But they just didn't look good on either side, man. Couldn't run the ball either. So if week 1 was any indication, man, it's not too wild. I'm going to still rock with them, but not too wild.
That O-line, boy. If Tannehill can't get loose and if Derrick Henry can't get about 80, 90 yards a game at minimum, yeah, Titans in trouble.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'm going to rock with him, though. I'm rock with the Tanny.
And not too wild is winning that poll 66%. And lastly, who is leading the candidate Who is the leading candidate for MVP after week 1? Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, or Russell Wilson?
I'm going to say Matthew Stafford, bro, because he's somebody who is going to elevate this team. I think this week with Kyler Murray, he showed his ass against a good team against the Titans, but I think that said more about the Titans, honestly, than it did the Cardinals. I think it said more about Titans. But I think this Rams team is really for real, and niggas seen that in week 1, because as soon as Matthew Stafford threw that first touchdown to Van Jefferson, he threw a deep ball to Van Jefferson. I seen the whole timeline was like, Matt Stafford MVP, Matt Stafford MVP. I'm like, no, nigga, don't jump on this bandwagon now, you bitch ass niggas. Y'all niggas wasn't rocking with that shit a couple months ago. No, it's too late for that. It's too late for that. But I think niggas are seeing the truth because they see how much he elevates that offense.
And Kyler Murray is winning that poll 46%. Matthew Stafford and Patrick Mahomes are tied at 21. Russell is last at 12. But I totally agree with you. Matthew Stafford is the leading candidate right now based off of the game that they had. You and I have both been saying for the past couple months now, him going to the Rams is giving him the opportunity to show everybody he's not just a stat patter. He's not just, somebody that plays his game but doesn't care about if the team is successful or not. Matthew Stafford is a winner. He was just on the trash-ass Lions this whole time. And the Lions, yeah, they had a few offensive weapons here and there, but the coaching staff was never what it was supposed to be. The defense was hardly ever anything
always
what it was supposed to be. Like, come on, bro. Like, Matt Stafford was never in a situation where it's like you can win the division and have a good playoff chance. He was never in that position before. Now, granted, you're in the toughest division in
which
football
is crazy
now,
as hell because you go to a better
crazy.
team with such a division.
But you have a chance to lead in this division. So I don't know, bro. Matt Stafford is the clear front runner right now, in my opinion.
And I think that's such a big deal with Matthew Stafford. Like, he has a defense that he can rely on. Like, he never had that. He never even had a running game in Detroit. Like, it was really just Matthew Stafford save us, like, every game. So the defense is huge. Like, you already got Aaron Donald. You got all these other pieces. You got Jaylen Ramsey. So it's like, man, you got a defense that you can rely on. Probably going to be a top 5 defense. And then you got Cooper Kupp. You got Woods. You got Michelle. You got Henderson. It's like, y'all finna make some shit shake, bro. And I'm liking the Browns and Rams for the Super Bowl, man. I'm liking it.